The next question is from 2020. The question reads as, which one of the following statements best describes the term social cost of carbon? It is a measure in monetary value of the long-term damage done by a ton of carbon dioxide emissions in a given year. Requirement of fossil fuels for a country to provide goods and services to its citizens based on the burning of those fuels. Efforts put in by a climate refugee to adapt to live in a new place. Contribution of an individual person to the carbon footprint of the planet Earth. This is actually called as your individual carbon footprint itself. There's no other term for it. Okay, efforts put in by a climate refugee. Do you think you can actually have techniques to measure the monetary value of it right now? Because in the first place, climate refugees itself are not properly accounted for. So the efforts put in by them to adapt to the climate change, no, that cannot be measured at this point. Requirement of fossil fuels for a country to produce goods and services to its citizens based on the burning of those fuels. So see, carbon is not just from your fossil fuels. Carbon has different other ways from which it is released. So this is not a very comprehensive method. Finally, the last option that is left is the long-term damage done by 1 ton of carbon dioxide emissions in a given year. That means when you have so much of carbon dioxide emissions, 1 ton of it in 1 year, what is the impact it will create is called as your social cost of carbon. Okay, so the answer to this question is A, long-term damage done by a ton of carbon dioxide emissions in a given year. The next question is a 2020 question. Consider the following statements. Coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. Mercury part we had already discussed previously. Coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen into the environment. High ash content is observed in Indian coal. And we are asking which of the above statements are correct. See, now again, coal ash is primarily the unburnt impurities present in coal. I have already told you, coal, because it is something that is coming from deep under the earth, it has all of these different minerals like this. So, arsenic, lead, mercury. So, all of this is correct. Coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen into the environment. Again, why? Because coal has your sulfur, nitrogen, and when they are burnt, it combines with oxygen and it gets released into the atmosphere. That is also correct. Last question, last statement reads, high ash content is observed in Indian coal. What is the meaning of it? High ash content means what? Ash, I told you, is the unburned impurity. So, are they saying that the Indian coal is rich in or it has higher impurities? Yes, that is what they mean. And it is a fact. Indian coal is considered to be, because of its, and in geography you would study this, because of its nature of formation, it is considered to have very high amount of impurities. So, when you burn Indian coal, it gives out very much unburned part, and that is why it said as high ash content is observed in your Indian coal. So, the answer to this question is D. 1, 2 and 3. All the statements mentioned here are correct. The next is a 2020 question. The question reads as, which of the following are the reasons or factors for exposure to benzene pollution? That means from where all can you get exposed to benzene pollution? Benzene is a very important factor when it comes to your automobiles. In a lot of automobile fuels, you have the mixture of benzene. So, just have a look. So, automobile exhaust is a quite obvious one. So, one should be there. So, this you can eliminate because you need one in all the options. You also see that when you look at the rest of it, you have 3 as a major common one. So, 3, let's look at 3. Wood burning, yes. So, wood burning is by default, it's given in all the options. 3 is also there. Now, we have to figure out about the rest of it. So, automobile exhaust is there, wood burning is there. Coming to the rest of the products. So when it comes to tobacco also, one of the major reasons why tobacco is considered harmful is because it does have, because tobacco is essentially what? It's a crop. In your crop, you do have this compounds, these benzene, what you say, and not directly in the form of benzene, okay? At that point, it's in the form of carbon and its smaller compounds. What happens is when exposed to oxygen, when it is burnt, it creates benzene. So yes, tobacco smoke is also valid. Using varnished wooden furniture, using products made from polyurethane, at that point, see, in the making of polyurethane, you do have benzene happening. But after that, if you're just using it, at that point, there is no emissions coming out from it. So in both of these options, you do have benzene in several stages in the pre-production of it. But once it's created, it does not give out emissions and it does not cause your benzene, or it does not cause exposure to benzene pollution. So options 4 and 5 are not valid. Option A is your correct answer. 1, 2 and 3. Next, we come across a 2020 question. In a rural road construction, the use of which of the following is preferred for ensuring environmental sustainability or to reduce carbon footprint? So when you look at all of these techniques, 3 is one that is quite getting very popular nowadays. Geotextiles primarily means that you are using certain compounds which are very environmentally friendly, and not just for your road construction, even when it comes for your clothes, etc., you are preferring geotextiles, for the reason being that can be mixed in a good manner to give a certain sense of sturdity. Okay, sturdy feeling for it. So when it comes to the clothes, when it comes to roads, etc., geotextiles are much in demand. Geotextiles is a valid option for environmental sustainability. So you can eliminate C and D because it does not have 3 in it. But now when you look at it, you have 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 in the rest of the options. Thus making it clear 2 will also be valid. Cold mix asphalt technology. Now the only question is which among 1 or 4 is correct. See, you have cold mix asphalt technology and hot mix asphalt technology. When it comes to hot mix and when it comes to Portland cement, I'm saying this so that that also becomes clear to you. When it comes to both of these compounds, what happens is there is high amount of, especially when it comes to hot mix, under very high amounts of temperature and heat is where these different binding compounds, like for example, if you have concrete, you have tar, etc., those are mixed together at very high temperatures. To create such high temperatures, you need to have that amount of electricity given. So what happens is it is not something that is very environmentally friendly. Coming to Portland cement also, what happens is if Portland cement needs to be mixed with your concrete in a good amount, again the same thing is needed. You need good amount of heat and energy for this process. So both of the processes, which is 4 and 5, has high energy consumption and is not a very sustainable method. So what your answer over here is 1, 2 and 3 only. The answer is A. Next, we have a 2020 question which says, why is there a concern about your copper smelting plants? Copper smelting again primarily means that extraction of pure copper from different copper minerals. That is the meaning of your copper smelting. That means you have copper that is mixed with different kinds of things, and from there you have to extract just the copper. So what are they? They may release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide into the environment. The copper slag can cause the leaching of some heavy metals into the environment. Copper slag is the final product, impure product that you get from the smelting of copper. That means from the smelting, what is going to happen? You will get pure copper, then you will get all the waste. That waste is called as copper slag. They may release sulfur dioxide as a pollutant. Out of the 3, which are you mostly sure could happen? Option 2 maybe? Option 2 means what? you are having copper slag and it can cause leaching of heavy metals. As I said, copper is combined with different metals. You're trying to extract copper. Whatever is left behind, it can easily start reacting with the environment. So here, option 2 is very much valid. You eliminate and you see all of the others have option 2. Then when it comes to copper smelting, you need to know, see, copper is already mixed with different compounds, and when you're trying to extract copper, what happens is any kind of carbon that is released from there, so because you have carbon, because its copper is mixed with your coal and everything, so then what happens is carbon would be there. So carbon instantly starts reacting with your oxygen, it forms carbon monoxide. But what also happens is from that stage, from that carbon monoxide stage, it doesn't stop over there. There is enough of oxygen out there, so much so that that carbon monoxide very quickly converts to carbon dioxide. So the final release is you have heavy amounts of carbon dioxide coming out, but not carbon monoxide. So this is why option 1 is not correct. Now, if option 1 is not correct, you are left with only 2 and 3. Third option is they may release sulfur dioxide as a pollutant. So what happens is from your copper, you again have sulfur coming out. Sulfur reacts with the oxygen and that gets released out. Okay. So yes, instead of carbon monoxide, if it was carbon dioxide over here, that would have been correct also. Okay. But now it is not correct. Okay. So the answer to this question is B, 2 and 3 only.